We had the ACS tournament. Okay, so that shows you more than anything that ASL is coming up pretty soon. ACS, of course, is like the amateur lead into ASL, where if you're not like, they actually changed the rules for it a couple seasons ago. But I think it's actually if you haven't made round of 16 of ASL now that you can play in it. So they changed that up a little bit. Before it was like if you hadn't made ASL or you hadn't made top 4 in ACS, right? So it's like just eliminating some of the very top guys. And everyone else can kind of play in it. ACS has always been around and it's always been a very, very strong tournament. But before it was only amateurs. Now you're going to see a lot of pro gamers playing in it as well as the top amateur players. So it just finished up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the brackets and see who made it in. And of course, there is going to be a final tournament of the top 4 players. There's 4 different brackets that get played. So taking a look here, Group A. So we can see that Sue was able to win it. Let's look at his road here. Not sure who that is. He took down Zhanhun, who is the best Chinese Protoss player. It's great to see Zhanhun actually playing these. Then he took down Art User, and then took down Soben. Soben's he's like, everyone kind of knows who Sobenz is up at the top. He is a very, very strong Protoss player. He's kind of like around Mighty level, if you guys remember Mighty, who doesn't, well, he still plays, but he doesn't show up that much anymore. We can see some other players in here, like this is Spire, so Sobenz was able to 2-0 Spire. He was able to 2-0 Absolute. We know that Absolute is a very, very strong player. Ivory dying in the first round. Ivory did make it into an ASL. He's probably the weakest player ever that made it into ASL, but he is very good. So overall, looking at this bracket, not super surprised. Sue has been playing a lot lately. In case you are wondering and you don't realize this is the Sue from StarCraft 2. Obviously, he was a StarCraft 1 pro before on SK Telecom, and he became like the second best GSL player ever, getting 6 Code S finals in a row. That was absolutely insane. And the thing is, he's kind of like a little bit of a punching bag of the top pros. Like they pretty much beat him all the time, but he's really legitimately good. And I know that he's practicing hard right now, not just for this tournament. He's also going to play that Chinese tournament that has like DeWalt in it and stuff coming up also. So good to see him make it through there. I think Sue doing well would just be very good for StarCraft 1 anyways. So that's Group A. Not a ton to say about that. All right, Group B. All right, so we see Stone. That's the other noob, right? There's 2 noob people that go by noob. That's the other one. Losing to 8-15 here. I don't know why 8-15 is let in. Didn't he make the round of 16 once? And then we have Saber. Oh, Saber actually won the bracket. Okay, that's not too surprising. Saber has actually been like top 5-ish on the ladder, and he's got like 2 accounts in top 15 recently. He's been killing it. He's been like really playing very, very well recently. So not surprised he made it. But this bracket is actually much stronger than the one that Sue won. So we see it's like, yeah, 8-15 is in here. Noob is in here. Saber. And then we have Paralyze, who actually, Paralyze is on my short list of new guys to get into ASL this season. I think Paralyze is pretty obviously an ASL level player right now. I think he's probably the strongest Protoss that hasn't made it into ASL in the whole world. And he did lose 2-0 here to Saber, but Saber is like super dialed in at the moment. So not like completely surprised by that. Yeah, that's too bad for Paralyzed, but I actually think he still has a decent shot to make it through the actual ASL bracket as well. He's very strong in every matchup right now. All right, so Saber, good job to him. Look at the next round. Youngju makes it in. That's interesting. So Youngju, I can't tell you too much about. I've only commentated a few games of him. The only tournament that I've seen him in before was the PSL. If you guys remember, I casted a little bit of that. It shut down after season 1. I think it's going to come back. I've heard that it's going to come back. But yeah, that's the only place I've really seen Youngju, and he seemed pretty good, but not like super top tier. And that was 8 months ago that last time I saw him play. So good for him making it up. Taking a look at who he got through my way. Oh, Promise was in here? Promise is actually really high on the ladder right now. Promise is playing a lot at the moment. And he 2-1 Xuan. So Xuan is a super cheesy Terran, but he's like a top 3-ish Terran in China. So the Chinese pros are actually very, very strong right now. But yeah, Xuan, that's surprising that he took a map off Promise, but it was probably a very cheesy game. But yeah, Promise just barely losing to My Way, who ended up losing to Youngju. We have Pusan versus July in here. I'm sorry, I'm overcome by chills. So if this is actually July, I know that Pusan still plays. Pusan is like, he's always kind of active. If this is actually July Zerg, if July Zerg actually is taking it seriously enough to play an ACS, I'm getting tears in my eyes just contemplating this. He is one of the most amazing players ever to have played StarCraft. He is one of the most exciting ever to watch, ever. And he is like, I think he was barely off of Bonjour status as well. Like he was just completely god tier. So much fun to watch. If July comes back and gets to, like, look at this. Nada is practicing really hard. July 2-1's Pusan, who I know is in pretty good shape and is playing in ACS. What? That's crazy. He is such a legend, and very, very old school too. But like, if players like Nada and July come back, and then you look also like Effort's back, Soma's back, Flash is trying to recover before he re-enters, but like, we are getting a ridiculous lineup of players. That is insane. Oh, also shout out to Yabsab here. Losing to Core. Oh, wow. And Core over Biel. This was a pretty good bracket. Pretty good bracket for Youngju to win through. I still think this bracket was harder, but let's see what the fourth bracket is. Fourth bracket is taken out by HM. Oh, this is the hardest bracket. I can already... Oh my God. This bracket is actually insane. Holy shit. That is crazy. Okay, so we have Judge. Judge was in the finals of an ASL qualifier last season, right? Am I... No. I'm sorry. This is Judge, the Zerg player. I was thinking of Hammer. My bad. You can see how that connection might be. Okay, Judge is a pretty good Zerg player. He did play the qualifiers last season. But Ride Sky, obviously, we all know Ride Sky. He has been one of the top amateur Terrans forever and just can't seem to make it. Then we have PCS, who's been in very good shape for the last few years. Quickly, who has been like a punching bag for top pros, but you can see he took down PCS, Ride Sky, and then barely lost to HM. HM taking out Mihu, and Mihu took out Xiaoshui. So Xiaoshui is the guy who... Mihu is the guy who won all tournaments in China for like 3 years or something like that, and then Xiaoshui came out and started beating him. And Xiaoshui actually made top 4 of ACS 2 years ago, I want to say it was. Yeah, maybe it was like 3 seasons ago, which would technically be 2 years ago. Something like that. Anyways, Mihu beating Xiaoshui actually in and of itself is kind of a cool narrative, a cool storyline, because I know that Mihu has been practicing so hard right now. Like, he wants to retake that top place in China. They do have, like, for those of you wondering, they do have a functional pro scene. There are many players that make like a full-time living off of playing StarCraft 1 there right now. So Mihu's practicing really hard. 2-1 Xiaoshui and 1-2 to HM. That used to be his weak matchup, TVZ. So good for Mihu. But yeah, HM taking out Mihu, and then taking out Quickly, and then taking out Motive. And Motive, he was like top of the ladder last season of ASL. He made it into that ASL and had that terrible flub with Cannon rushing the wrong main base against Rush. It was a rough season for him, but Motive is super, super top tier. Won the last CNSL like a year and a half ago. And so HM takes him out. That's huge. Sky is in very good shape. Sky has been very high on the ladder for a while now. He's been practicing a lot as well. So this is a super stacked bracket. Like Quickly, Ride Sky, PCS, Sky, Motive. These are all guys that could have made the top 4 easily. So yeah, that is a super stacked bracket. And it's good to see HM doing well, because like some other players passed him by more recently, but HM has been one of my shortlist Zergs to make it into ASL for like 5 years or something. So really nice to see him there. So let's scroll up, take a look. There's your qualified players. Youngju for Terran, HM, Su Saber for Zerg. No Protoss players. We had let's see, Protoss in the finals, Protoss in the finals, Terran Zerg finals, Protoss finals. So Protoss actually performed very well in this tournament. In fact, let me just look real quick at the Terrans. Okay, so Ride Sky lost to Quickly. You who didn't play a Protoss. Youngju beat Core 2-0. Okay. So yeah, Protoss actually did well in the tournament. They just happened not to win the brackets. Like it was mostly Zergs taking them down, and this was the only TVP victory in the whole tournament right there. So yeah, unfortunate not to get a Protoss in there to kind of make it a more balanced thing. So a lot of ZVZ will probably be going on. I don't expect Youngju to be able to get through. HM, Su, and Saber are all better than Youngju. His bracket was a little bit easier, but you know, not a terrible bracket. Good job to Youngju. But yeah, there you go. So one of these players will win ACS and get directly into ASL. So that'll be the first person that qualifies. In fact, that is coming up. No, this was the qualifiers. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly when they'll play it. I'll let people know when that occurs. But one of these players will be going directly to ASL. And yeah, any of these three, I would be very happy with. I would be shocked if Youngju makes it, but good for him if he does. So there you have it. ACS is almost done, and that means ASL is on the way.